Hey everyone, how are you? I'm doing my TIFF 50 ranking. So the films I saw in 2025 at the Toronto International Film Festival have all been reviewed now, and I'm going to be looking at my ranking um, list on Letterboxd, which you can't see, and I want to tell you about some of the things I saw. Starting with some of the short films. Some of the short films I was able to see I was able to add on actually from Canada's top 10. I was sent a bunch of shorts I hadn't seen that I really enjoyed, like Lloyd Wan Unfinished. That was actually my favorite short of the festival last year. And Klee, which was my runner up, loved it. Ripe, I had seen because I interviewed the director ahead of the festival, so that was great. And then, of course, The Girl Who Cried Pearls, Oscar winning shorts. You got to mention that. And yeah, there was some other things too. But let's talk about my bottom of the barrel features. So there was this sort of presumptuous, futuristic, sort of near future Ukraine set movie coming from Ukraine called To the Victory, and this is very much like kind of part of the Zelensky effort to take control of the narrative. And this is set in a Ukraine where they have won the war, and I felt that was, maybe counting your eggs before they hatch, and a little presumptuous and arrogant for them to make something like that. And even though it won an award, it kind of pissed me off, and that's why it's my least favorite film of 20 of TIFF 50. My least favorite narrative, that is. Yeah, and then Rental Family was right underneath that, and right after that. So I got to talk to Brendan Fraser, and that's so exciting. And I talked to some people who worked in the music, and that's great. But this is just a little too sappy, a little too Hollywood for me. And I really like the director's previous film. I'm just going to bring that up here. What's her name? Her name is Haraki, I believe. Hikari, okay. And she made a movie that came to TIFF in 2019. Oh, called 37 Seconds. And that was fantastic. And you should read about that and see that. But this one was just a little too clean for me. Same with Edward Berger's Ballad of a Small Player, starring Colin Farrell. Again, I just know he's kind of better than that, better than this, and I wish he would maybe not do something as artistically as ambitious as All Quiet on the Western Front. Maybe his new reality doesn't give you the parameters to do something like that, but I felt like this was just a little too far in the other direction. So these Hollywood movies kind of irked me. Bloodlines, I just reviewed that. I still like it, but um, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I, yeah, you have to go back to my review video. It's just a fresh review. Go check that out. I dropped that this week. Europcha, that's right after Bloodlines. Um, with Charlie XCX, who's like in every single movie. I would have just preferred this to be no name actors in Warsaw, Poland. I didn't want the celebrity factor there. I thought that was a little distracting for this sort of movie, which is sort of a fractured relationship movie. I I, I don't know. It felt like, again, just kind of this gratuitous inserting of Hollywood or Hollywood values. I don't know. Do I sound like a prude? Maybe I sound like a prude. Mama was pretty good. It's just above Eurocha, but I don't know. Same with Oka. I got to interview that director. She's Mexican. Egghead Republic was a very strange take on the Shane Black legacy. It was all right. Carmadonna was really something else. It was a great concept. It was a little chaotic though, and that's why it's my final 3.5 star rated film. So uh, you've got 8 with 3.5 stars, and then Laundry for South Africa, my first 4 star. It was cool. I kind of forget everything about it. Honey Bunch, I love those directors. I put it right after Laundry. Madeline Sims Fewer and Dustin Mancinelli. I love their film Violation. It's like a micro budget, freaky Ontario movie, horror film of sorts, and ultimately a relationship film. And this one is a relationship movie too, and it has two leads of note. So what was it? Grace Klowicki and Ben Petrie, who are a couple of real life, and they play a couple here. And then they also notably had that film Dead Lover. Both films played at TIFF 50, and neither of them particularly resonated with me. I saw that one later. I saw Dead Lover later at the Genre Gems Festival in Ottawa. Tuner was cool. I like Tuner. It gets 4 stars. Uh, yeah, and now right after Tuner is The Furious, which is funny because my clips from that film are doing really well right now, and I'm really happy about that. And those guys are great, and I love stuff like this. And I am one of the first people to see this film. Actually, I saw it before its TIFF Midnight Madness premiere. I had it projected on my wall at the Airbnb, and that's hysterical. And there was just so much going on. You know, you're burning from both ends at TIFF. I was just exhausted. I was having fun, but I'm not gonna say it was as good as like The Raid or something like that. Like people are comparing it to that. I don't, or Twilight of the Warriors, was that better? I don't know. It gets 4 stars. Okay, that's where it's at. You might be a little surprised where it's at in this ranking. Little Amelie, or The Character of Rain, cool Japan animation. It's just about the Furious. Aki, weird indigenous documentary. Dug it, dug it. Levers, I had to see it a second time to appreciate it more. I might have given it 4.5 stars, but it's chilling at 4 stars right here. And very trippy film directed by, let's get her name, Rain Vermette, who I talked to, and she's great. She came to Ottawa, and I got to chop it up with her about Sun Ra and her film and her process. No complaints. Nouvelle Vague, just above Levers. Really enjoyed that film. Kind of was wondering why a French person didn't direct it, even though I love Richard Linklater. It was great to see him introduce the film in Toronto. Lots of fun. Flana, I just want to verify that this is what I think it is. Right. So this is a documentary, and it's really creepy. Set in Iraq. It looks at gendered violence, and Iraq is sort of off the radars due to other international conflicts. But you should be interested in this film. It's really interesting to see how similar actually Baghdad is. Okay, it is quite different, but it does have similarities to other big cities. So check that out. I would say, I just watched this movie from Saudi Arabia called Unidentified, and I felt like Baghdad was closer to home than it was closer to Toronto than a city in Saudi Arabia would be. The Ugly, I really liked it. I don't know. I can't forget everything about it, but there you go. It's at 4.5 stars. How many 4 stars do we have here? We've got 9, and then we've got a bunch of 4.5 star films. Crazy. So The Ugly, Urkala, Gilgamesh's Dream, another really cool movie from Iraq. This time a narrative film. Highly recommend it. The Cost of Heaven, I got to talk to the director. Really interesting Montreal movie. Kind of made me feel like I was watching European art fair coming from Canada. Pools, a movie I believe that premiered at South by Southwest, came to TIFF. American film, pretty chill coming of age tale. Another coming of age tale above that, 100 Sunset was cool. We're looking at the Tibetan diaspora in Toronto, and I thought it was a cool lurky film. Girl from Taiwan, dug it. Pretty tough. Maybe the acting wasn't as refined as you might be accustomed to in like a big festival film, but It's worked for me. There are no words. A very gritty documentary set in Toronto, dealing with Chinese diaspora and generational trauma. Tough stuff. And who was directed by this? Let's figure that out. Min Suk Lee, who did? Who also did? Oh, jeez. I thought she'd done this. Okay, never mind. Um, yeah, good documentary. Sorry, my mind's racing right now. Renoir played at the Cannes Film Festival, Japanese movie. Aaron was watching Sentimental Value in the morning of the kickoff of TIFF 50. I watched Renoir. There you go. I liked it. Similar to Girl, gritty coming of age female tale with a little bit more polish. Nuns versus the Vatican, excuse me, multiple Vaticans. So that was chill. It was a little confrontational, and I believe went to A&E. Eagles of the Republic, really great film. Got to talk to the director, and then the star later on this year. Actually, I don't know, in March or April. I don't really remember. Uh, so yeah, gritty tale about an actor. You think he's unlikable, and then there's even people even more unlikable. So there you go. There's a interesting spectrum here of uh, uh, morality. Let's say Forestera, really great movie from Spain, award winner at TIFF. Came here to Ottawa at FO. You should watch it. You should love it. Nomad Shadow, really interesting Saudi film. Looks at what happens when you are a woman, educated, and come back home. All these resentments. Modern horror. This will irk people for sure. Some people about sex work and sex positivity, and it's all there. And I'm sure a bunch of you are gonna hate it immediately, but I loved it, and I liked the subject. I liked the director. It was a good time. Okay, so Epic, the Elvis Presley concert film, hard not to love. Baz Luhrmann went to town with that stock footage, and I saw it on the IMAX screen. Lots of fun. I wasn't even planning on doing it. I had a window though, so that was a good time. The Smashing Machine, I get it. Um, Marty Supreme made a lot more money than this. They got more accolades and that was by Josh Safdie, and the Smashing Machine was by Benny Safdie, and nobody really cared about it. It kind of came and went. But I think it's admirable that Benny tried something different, because Marty Supreme is very much like Good Time and Uncut Gems, and the formula to me is getting a little stale. I love Marty Supreme. The first time I saw it, then I watched it the second time, and you kind of see some things, some things that are a little too similar, and that's not a good thing. So the Smashing Machine, okay, yeah, Dwayne Johnson can't compare to Emily Blunt, and he's doing his best, and it's his best role, and it's great. But Emily Blunt's a lot better than he is, and he has to be just as good as she is for it to work. He has to be actually just as good, maybe even better, because I'm looking at this letterbox poster right now, and it's him on the poster. It's not both of them on the poster. It's him on the poster. This is supposed to be his film. She's a supporting character. Supporting lead blows you out of the water. Doesn't work. Sorry, no. Yeah, and I'm not trying to be mean or gendered here. That's just how I see it. Sorry. The Napa Boys, totally ridiculous movie. Kind of insane that it's my number three, but I thought it was hysterical. And I don't know when it's going to come out theatrically. I think it's probably has come to the States. I don't know anything. Okay, now, so 4.5. So we have a lot of 4.5s here. We've got, where does it start? Right. 1, 2, 3, 8, 13, 16. That's a lot. I saw a lot of stuff. I mean, I seek out things that I enjoy, right? So I can I have an overview of everything. I try not to see things that I think are gonna suck. So, and TIFF is pretty great. So a lot of 4.5 stars there. Exit 8, my number 2, very much a video game adaptation that feels like a video game. Very creepy, very cool. A horror video game, of course. I went to the wrap party of this film, which is hysterical because everyone's Japanese basically or worked for Neon, and here I am, this Ottawa YouTuber just kind of chilling. But they gave me a lot of food and everyone was nice to me. My number one, Barrio Triste, of course, it gets 5 stars. Or sorry, Barrio Triste. Someone corrected me in Toronto. Um, Feel bad, miserable movie. Street kids getting treated like garbage, treating other people like garbage in Medellin, Colombia in the '90s. Shot on like I guess it has like a handheld camera look, almost documentary aesthetic, rough around the edges. Edgelord production. A lot of people hate Edgelord. Harmony Korman's sort of anti-cinema label, um, and this one hasn't had a theatrical run yet. I really hope it gets one. Exit A didn't get much. It just played at here at the Mayfair Bytown, so some rep theaters. I don't think it played too many Cineplex chain cinemas. Yeah, so there you go. I try not to seek all the shiny objects. I try to seek things out that I think are going to be interesting, that I think are going to be good, that are worth championing, worth getting behind, worth tooting the horn for. And I found many interesting films here. I look back, not everything is as good as or as bad as I thought, or as memory, you know, I mean, now I just maybe might look at some things a little differently if I rewatch them. But hey, that's just the passage of time, is it not? We always look at things a little bit differently a few months later. I think so. Don't you? Anyways, that's about it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Take care, everybody.